ask for your energy to be lifted up in this meditation so that you can have a better day. Yeah, Mercedes has got a special greeting for everybody. How does it go, Mercedes?
It goes, hello, I love your beautiful soul.
And I want more of that juice.
And I want that juice, baby.
On the way through Creston, I had Cindy do a prayer. I told her, take some tobacco as we're driving along. I'm just cruising down the highway and she opens up the window and some tobacco. And I'm like, say a prayer. I always say the prayers. And I'm like, this time you do it. So she's saying prayer and letting the tobacco go in the wind and that. And I says, let's see what happens.
Yeah. And then Joe says, Cindy, say this, so I missed something, in the whole prayer. And so I rolled the window back down and I yelled it out. I yelled out the whole prayer and just like, in case you didn't hear me. It was weird when I did it too, because it felt really light and I got really excited and really happy when I was saying it. And it was kind of funny. And, because I know so often we mumble our prayers or we say them in our head or we're really quiet. But when you're driving down the highway at highway speeds and the wind's blowing in your car, you can say it loud.
Yeah, we're going through a big valley. We're like down in the bottom and going across this valley.
Creston.
And I said, oh yeah, the universe, that's rippling everywhere. That's, yeah, they can hear that. And we're just ripping along and talking about stuff. Really interesting going in and out of storms. We went up over, I don't know if it's Bear Hump or whatever, but you go quite high up and right at the top, it was just snowing. It was really, really crazy. The weather was like so different, just raining in some places, hailing in others, sunny in some other parts. So just like going through all kinds of different destinations. So it was a really interesting trip.
Well, just what we did there, and when we were driving through Creston, because that's a place that we feel like we might move to. So we offer tobacco to the spirits and we talk to them. So as we drove through that region, I was like, okay, the spirits of the land. So every spirit, every part of land has an angel or a spirit of it. Every home has a spirit guardian. And it's like talking to the guardians of the land. And so offering that tobacco to them and asking them, do you want us here? And if you do want us here, show us how we move here. And this is kind of where I want to like segue into the teaching for today from my end. I'm not sure where his end is. When I was offering the prayer and the tobacco, I was asking, I asked, okay, show us how we do this, because there's this thing where we keep doing the same thing over and over again. This is how I make my money. This is how I build a house, or, this is how I'm going to do it. You're coming from a very like logical, memory-based creation or manifestation. Where is the mystery in your creation if you're the one that's telling the universe how it's got to be all the time? How do you create new if you're doing the old practices and the old ways all the time? And that was coming through my readings this morning with both the I Am discourses and the Ramtha book. Both of them was just saying, like, if you want new, you're going to have to go into the void and go into that silence. When you're going into that whole controlling the universe, I was like, okay, this makes sense. And how I was asking, how do we do this? And let them show you. And there's a part of receiving that. And this is where I want to hand it over to Joe. It's like, Joe, how do we like surrender to creator or to that infinite or that I am or the God, and let it show us how do we do that? Is there some advice?
I know the thing that keeps coming as you're talking is like destination. Like our minds always want a destination. And there's so many different random circumstances and different things that go on. Like yesterday was a really, really good thing like that, because I wanted to get the crystals while we were in Lethbridge, but every time we went to the rock store, it was closed. So I'm like, okay, I guess we're not meant to have rocks. Then on the trip, I started driving and Cindy said, well, maybe we can check in Creston or we can check in along the way. And I was thinking, well, maybe we can loop back and go into Nelson, go that way. It's like an extra hour or two. And I was like, it's a little too much longer, like 9 hours already, 11 hours is a little too much. So Cindy just Googled, and sure enough, Creston right on Main Street. We ended up getting what we wanted. So this idea of destination and twice the universe, because I'm like, yeah, Lethbridge has got the rocks, I'm going there, it's going to be there. And each time it was closed. And so with me, always it's like, where is it you're meant to be? And the universe just designed this before you were born. You have to realize a lot of things that go on in your life was something you already created, but you wake up and you manifest. And sometimes we know or we understand different things. Sometimes people will glimpse something in our future and that they'll tell us. And we may assume it was 6 months from now or a year from now. So we really focus and we got this destination, we got the drive to be here, and we forget about all the other circumstances. Like yesterday, if I didn't stop in that rock store and Cindy see those carvings and mention, I wouldn't have known this person from the past was there. And it's really interesting because every now and then I think of this person and different things. And so this came up and I was like, if I had gotten the rocks in Lethbridge, I would never found out this person lives in Creston. So there's different kinds of things going on. And so in my prayers, I always ask, okay, is this where we are meant to be? And that's part of that surrender.
Yeah.
Because it's like looking out into the stars and saying, okay, that star there, I'm going to get to that one. Well, you don't know how you're going to get there. And it's same as in life. You're looking at the sky. It's so massive and huge. Or you're thinking, well, what world did I come from when I came here to be this human being for a while? Like, which destination is there? Because when you leave, you're going to go back there. You're going to go back home. You're going to brag and you're going to tell your story. You know, when I was an alien on this world, now I'm back here. I need to brag about myself. So you're going to end up doing that. So the surrender part is really interesting. And it's the way you word it. It's the way you think, because you got to expand it. And when you expand it, the universe likes to play. It likes to do little things. It likes seeing how much you want to pay attention. And it's going to show you. And you get little glimpses of things. This morning, I was sitting there and I was calling in the white light. Like, I try to call in the white light for about 5 minutes in the morning. And then I call in other spirits, angels, energies, especially today. Like today, there's a certain ultraviolet light that's really, really amplified from the universe. So asking that to be absorbed into your energies, whatever it is, it's there. And if you're asking for a specific one, and today, every day has its own ultraviolets that are really expansive. So inviting that in, and the universe is generating it for a reason. And if you're conscious and you're asking, you don't have to know exactly what it is. You're just like, whatever the ultraviolet today is really, really important. I want to absorb that. So first thing in the morning, I ask for this energy to come in. And it changes, it does things, it opens up stuff and it goes on. And so in your thoughts and prayers, this is the kind of thing you surrender. Sometimes you surrender to the unknown, because we have this, like I say, destination. Our brain wants to see or know something. One way I used to tell people is like when you're searching spirituality. Say you live in Edmonton and you need to drive to Kelowna, but the only opportunity is you have it late at night. The only time you can ever drive is really, really late at night, and it gets very dark and there's always storms. And you got to drive through these mountains. And sometimes in the storms, it's white out. You can't really see the road. Sometimes it's foggy. And you can see so far in front of you, and it's a little scary because you're driving in the dark. And that surrender and that trusting that the road is there, and you're going to make it through, and you're going to come out the other side. Because when you come out the other side, it's going to be morning and bright, and you can be able to navigate without any fear. And sometimes when we're born, we put a lot of things into the universe. Somewhere we said we would trust this. We would somehow believe that whatever is going to manifest in our prayers and our thoughts, it's just going to guide us there. Because if we've already created it and we really desire it, it's going to come to us. When we wake up one day, we're going to be there. And that part of that surrender is looking at different ways. because you got to recognize your mind,
Mhm.
inside your mind, how your mind is like this super amazing computer or machine that a lot of us don't understand how to sit in it and operate it.
Mhm.
And when you're surrendering, it's going to open and start showing you things, and you get glimpses, you get visions and that. And sometimes you get little bits and pieces of the puzzle until later one day something would pop, and then it just comes together and you go, whoa, okay, this is what it is, but it's part of the whole thing. And because we are geniuses and we are gods, we put some of our faith in the universe. It's going to guide us. There's something around us. There's something assisting, bringing things, doing all these different things, trying to open us up and make us really conscious and aware of everything. But it's that's the trust in the unknown, and that's the surrender.
Mm.
And so when you use certain kinds of prayers, like what Cindy did, is like, is this the place we're meant to be? Because I pick up things, other people pick up things. It might be a little bit off, but maybe the destination is get there. You're there for a month or so, and then the right one will open up. That happened with us in the past. We got to Kelowna, and then 6 months later, we ended up in Penticton, where we have been for a few years. So when you're surrendering, it's just trusting in the unknown, saying a prayer and letting the universe make it really, really big.
I want to say about the faith in the unknown. In the Ramtha book, he was talking about that today. But you have to believe in something, and then to believe in something being possible or true, and then having the faith that that your belief will manifest. So there are a couple elements there too. And what Joe was saying too, how you're using your mind, and it comes with like your thoughts are moving through you. Your thoughts are showing you what your choices and your options are, kind of thing, for you to sort of select from. And when you're selecting your options and your choices, like let's say there's 5 different cities that we can move to. Those are our selections. And then there is this belief that wherever we move will be the right place for us to live in. And then there's the faith that all of the possibilities will come together and get us there safely. So there's like a collection of sort of steps and events, but they come from within you, and the energy that you generate through you, really based down into your overcomplicating your thoughts or getting spread out too thin, so there's some point you have to just let go, which is the surrender part, and just allow your faith and your belief to show you that it's real.
So it's like Cindy, sometimes she'll spontaneously just channel something. So we were getting our hamburger yesterday on our fast trip, and she's like, well, let's go into the store. We'll go buy your tea there, because there's a sleeping tea that I want to get. It's from the Nelson area. And there's all kinds of different herbs in it that really help. So we're doing that, and Cindy says, well, we'll go in there. So we pull in there, and it's not the tea. They sell a different tea with CBD, and we weren't interested. But in the whole thing, it's a healing center, and they do reiki, and they sell rocks, and they have all kinds of stuff. And this woman is just going to buy the place, and Cindy gives them the cards. And the lady is like, because Cindy says, well, moving here. And she says, well, I have a room if you guys are interested in at this price. And I'm like, is that a hint from the universe that we're on the right track? Because this woman just threw it out at us. And then Cindy, on the way out the door to get the card, she's like, Joe here, he's a medicine man. So she closes the door, and I'm like, oh, here we go now. Yeah. Now I'm going to get interrogated, right? It's like, what piece of the puzzle can I tear apart and look at? It's like, explain this to me. And so I talked a little bit. Cindy came back in, and that's where I ended up buying the blue sage and stuff. And like, there's little tiny subtle hints in different ways, because somebody will just throw something out of nowhere. And this woman is like, for this price, yeah, you can have this space. So we'll see if there's other things that go on that more this is something that is correct.
Which is the part about being open for it. Like, if we were just to keep it a secret, don't tell anybody. It is our wish to move to this place. And we're just going to hold it inside. The energy is not flowing, right? And it's like, we find ourselves in this place. It's very similar to what we do. And then, so I'm going to just throw out a few things. It's like allowing the energy to flow. Just trust that feeling and drop it and keep moving on. You can just feel how the energy moves. But if you're keeping it all in, you're controlling how the universe should do things and how it will keep you protected and safe, and your fears, giving them life, you become enslaved by your beliefs instead of having faith that the beliefs can manifest, which is surrendering to your beliefs, or enslaved by your beliefs. There's certain words there that can really bring it home for you, whatever works for you, but just allowing those doors to open up and let the energy flow.